All right, hello everyone. Welcome back to our Sunday analysis before markets open next week. We are here. We're going to go over, what futures look like right now, as well as the news over the weekend, stock sector performance that we saw last week, along with our earnings release. So that is what we have going on. We're going to go take a look at everything, and then we're going to wrap it up here. So we're going to start off with futures right now. This is the 5 minute on SPY. 5 minute on SPY, we're up 0.84%, which is beautiful to see. If you guys caught this dip last week at market close, you guys should be sitting pretty nice right about now. I'm hoping to see SPY get over this white smoothed EMA line here at 385. If we can get over 385, we do see a nice fill up to that 386, and then above that we see 391. So if we can get back up into this area this week for that nice change, transition into March is what I would love to see from SPY. Now we're gonna go look at NQ. We're gonna go look at the Nasdaq futures. This will give us a good idea of what NASDAQ is looking like. As we can see, NASDAQ is up a full percent from Friday's close, which is wonderful to see here. We have this nice recovery. We're back where we were. Now we are above that smooth DMA, which is what we love to see. We're going to zoom this out just a little bit to the 45 minutes, and we are forming somewhat of a nice cup and handle here. I'd love to see us get back up to that 13,209 on NASDAQ. Above that, we can get back over the smooth DMA, above 13,360, and then from there we can push even higher. So that is what I'd like to see this week as far as NQ goes and SPY go. Overall, we're going to take a look at the longer term here. We're going to go to the daily on NQ, and we're going to go back to SPY as well. And I'll just show you what I'm looking at here. So as far as the daily goes on the NQ and SPY, we're going to take a look at NQ first. As we can see, last week, towards the end of the month, right, we had a lot of sell pressure there. This is just this year, of course, but we saw a lot of selling pressure here on the middle half of this month, which I expect that to translate over to a nice recovery. What I'm hoping to see here is like what we saw back in October, where we saw these days of red turn into a nice V-shaped recovery once it bounced off of this green smoothed line, the smooth EMA as well. This is just a different time frame for it. I believe this is the 20. As we can see, we had this nice doji, this long-legged doji, turn back into a nice uptrend. This is what I'm looking to see here. I'm looking to see this next week push back up and then to have that nice solid growth into the rest of the month. We had a nice RSI reset on NQ back to that 43 level area. Overall, I think we can easily see a nice recovery here. We haven't dipped below this green line in quite a while on NQ. Last time we dipped below it was, of course, COVID days, which has been a full year since then. As of now, we're back into the swing of things. Everything's looking good. We had this nice EMA touch. Now let's bounce here. Let's bounce off of these levels and go from there. So that's what I'm seeing on NQ. We'll go take a look at the daily on SPY. I do believe SPY can continue to dip a bit more, as we've seen here, right? So the SPY does not, it is a bit more overextended than NQ is, but I believe if NQ rallies, we can see SPY rally as well. Overall, the daily on SPY is a bit more choppy. It's been a little bit less lower volume. As far as I am concerned with this, right, we saw this major dip down to this 200 EMA. I believe this is the 200. I would have to check my charts here. But we saw this major one all the way down. Then we came back. We're holding this blue smoothed Bollinger Band that we have. Then we got back over another smooth EMA, and we've been holding that ever since. We've been gradually curtailing towards the top of this channel. The past few times we have dipped, this one was back in September. We dipped down to this green area, got eaten up right back. We dipped down again, went back up. Now, we have seen SPY dip below this red line before. What I'm hoping is that we are going to hold this area of support. We're going to see these bands start to curl a little bit more up, and then we get a nice bounce off of that and start to push all-time highs in August, or not August, into March. So that is the goal here. We haven't seen this high of selling pressure for 2 consecutive days, the 25th and the 26th, since we saw one sell-off day here back after the election. and then we saw a couple of sell-off days back in June. So other than that, we haven't really seen too big of a sell. We did see it here as well, but I'm hoping that we get a nice bounce here on SPY and we can continue our onward and upward momentum that we have carried. We got a nice RSI reset back to 43 again here, so let's see what this has entail. So I'm going to go over the news that came out over this weekend. We got $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan. It was passed by the House. So, the markets love this stimulus news, right? Stimulus news is big for the markets. That means more money coming out and more money going in. So Biden's relief bill moves to the Senate floor for debate, where a vote could happen as early as next week. Depending on what is in it and depending on how the senators feel about this, I know that we have more conservative Democrats, and I know we have a bit more Democratic conservatives in there. So we will see. We'll see where this goes. I don't know. I do know that if it gets split 50-50, Kamala Harris is the split in there, so she can decide whether or not to pass this. Which I do believe if it gets down to her, she will pass. Like we see here, some Democrats oppose Biden's relief. But we also know that some Republicans also endorse it. So there could be that nice offsetting points there. Stimulus checks of at least $600 approved in California. Tax savings of $3,100 in the stimulus bill. Child tax credit expansion. And the COVID U.S. deaths are exceeding a bit. But let's go take a look at also the COVID live updates. This will also play big into it. We got into Johnson & Johnson. That was a big one. Johnson & Johnson COVID relief. I believe it's their vaccine that got approved. So that's huge. Now we have 3 vaccines out there. If we go take a look at COVID cases in the U.S., we can easily take a look here and see that we got a nice, way steady drop. Now we're starting to even out a bit here. We had 62,000 cases. That is a lot less than what we were seeing back in January. And we're just kind of cruising. So let's see those numbers minimize as time goes on, in hopes that this, stimulus relief bill gives us that nice boost in the market, as well as the lower COVID numbers. We can see a nice little move up. This week, we do have some news coming out this week. We can go and look at the market news this week and see what we have. On the Edward Jones side, this is what I use. Rates are rising for a reason. The speed of ascent is in a headwind. This is, 95% of the S&P 500 companies already reported their fourth quarter earnings. A lot of them lost on their earnings. They made major dips in the market. This is where we're seeing these dips back. We had big ones like Tesla, as well as Apple not do as well. Microsoft did boost up, but it's back to those pre-earnings levels. So, this is what we're seeing on the real personal income this week. And the Federal could respond. The market is challenging the Fed's patience. So we got a lot of news coming out this week and next. We've got jobless claims on Thursday, as we know. And this all affects the market analysis. So hopefully those jobless claims are lower, and we can see that nice move up, because I know the past few weeks haven't been that great. So now we're going to go take a look at the sector performance here, and take a look. So last week, we can see here equity went down, as we can see, about 0.53%. I do believe that, that was a about $150 drop that we saw on SPY for a week. 39.50 to 38.07. That was a decent drop. Fixed income went up, which was nice to see. Now we see these markets turn, because as we see here, the SPY is updating. Forex was up, or I believe it was down last week. Energy was not changed at all. Metals went down a bit, and then agriculture stayed up. So we have these industries where they went up, they went down. As we can see here, we only had 2 that really did well, 1 that was unchanged, and the rest were major dips. So I'm going to go through here. I'm going to look at the areas that I think we could see a big rebound. So I do think we can see a big rebound in energy, such as energy, equipment, and services. Oil, gas, and consumable fuels, I don't know about that one. That's going to be a hard overview, especially with the Biden administration really pushing that renewable energy. So I don't know about the energy sector making a big comeback, but I do believe energy equipment and services can see a nice boost up. Um, as far as the other one, financials as well, banks went down quite a bit, which was quite shocking to see. But we did see a lot of bearish flow on banks such as Citibanks, J.P. Morgan. What else was there? Goldman Sachs. We saw a lot of those banks tend to decline. A 3% decline is pretty big, as we can click on here and see. The industry details last week, we saw a sharp decline. And that wasn't the greatest to see on banks, but this is where we can play those bounce back plays back up. This can also carry the market to higher highs in the future. The next area that I think we can easily see come back up and have a nice rebound would be the utility sector. So as we can see here, independent power and renewable energy actually did very well. Multi-utilities did not. So multi-utilities, this is an industry that has been declining since the election. I don't know about this one. I don't know if we can actually see this recover as well. This has been on the downward spin, but overall we will see what happens. I don't know about this one. This one it doesn't have as large of a market cap. It's only got 430 billion. So let's see what happens there. Next up, we have materials. Construction materials was down, but not a bit. They did rally quite a bit with lumber going up the past few weeks, so that's no shockers there. Metal and mining, I do believe we'll see a nice boost up. That was almost a 4% decline. So overall, that's not too bad. Consumer staples, this is one that we saw a decline. Tobacco went down quite a bit. I don't expect tobacco to really make a huge comeback. Personal products, household products, food products, these were all down, so that's going to lead the way. For like Walmart not to do as great, Costco not to do as great, this and that. As far as the other areas, industrials didn't really have too much. We had mixed numbers here. Aerospace and air defense was down, but overall it wasn't that bad. Communication services did do mediocre, which I was kind of surprised about. Diversified telecommunication was down, but it was saved by media and interactive media services. So we see those moves up like Twitter, Snapchat, those type of things. So this is what I have. I do expect a lot of rebound this week. The things that I do expect to decline are going to be oil, gas, and consumable fuels. I don't think we'll see as big of a rebound here, but I expect materials as well as real estate, financials, and consumer staples to all make a move back up. Consumer directory and IT, overall, I expect these to hold well. These are probably going to be my top growth stocks, such as software, as well as technology, hardware, IT services, and electronic equipment. I'm going long on these for the future. That's just me personally, but that's what I see doing well. Consumer services that remained unchanged, I do think we might see a remained unchanged here, like I was just talking about, but we'll see what this week entails. So that's what I have for the sector performance, but now we're going to go into the economic events and analysis for this week. So the major ones we want to look at are going to be these red stars. So as we can see, we have a consumer confidence report Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern. I do not believe this will be a major thing, but Jerome Powell speaks at this time as well. This is the Fed's chair as far as printing money is concerned. So let's see what Jerome Powell has to say. He usually involves the market quite a bit. He also speaks on Wednesday, and these Tuesday, Wednesday, or this was last week. That's why we saw this major change into last week. But let's look at the monthly here and go for March. Here we go. So we have ISM Manufacturing Index at 8 a.m. This isn't going to affect the market as much as I think it will. This is just a consensus referral. Then we have a petroleum status report. This could affect the gas area. This is why I don't believe we will see too much of a move in that one. I think everybody's waiting for that on Wednesday to decide what we want to put in for that. Jobless claims, as I said, 8:30 a.m. Eastern, so an hour before market opens. This will be a nice indicator of the jobless claims. And then Friday, we actually have an employment situation as well as an international trades in good and service. This one won't affect it, but the employment situation might see a good boost up or a good boost down. This will affect the Friday outcome going over the weekend, and it'll decide if I want to swing anything over the weekend or if I want to remain a neutral position and have a cash position. So that's what I have as far as what we want to look forward to for this week. Now I'm also going to go to our earnings this week. As we see, we have a highly anticipated earnings week. Most of the blue chip companies have already given their quarter fours, so we're looking at a little bit more of a renewable energy push as well as consumables. So we have Workhorse and Neo on Monday. Neo is a top watcher for me. This is another one in the EV industry. This will make or break Neo's future, in my opinion, for the not long-term future, the near future, as far as if we get back up into the 50s or 60s, or if we move back down to the 30s, 20s. I don't think it'll go that low, but that you're picking up what I mean by that. Then we have Target and Fubo on Tuesday. Those are two big ones, in my opinion, that I will be watching heavily. And then Wednesday, we have Snowflake. This is Warren Buffett's company. Berkshire Hathaway also has theirs on Monday, but since I do not trade Berkshire, it does not affect me as much. Snowflake, that is after close. That is a big one that I'm watching. Another one that I'm watching on Wednesday is going to be Wendy's. I don't think they will have too much of an impact going forward on what I decide to put into it, but it's always a fun one to watch. Thursday, we can look at Costco and Kroger. These are two highly anticipated ones. I love to play Costco just due to the fact of the volatility of it. Gap is also reporting. Turtle Beach as well. These are interesting ones. Smith & Wesson is also reporting. And then Friday, we have Big Lots. That is a big one. And as far as that goes, that's about all I'm watching on earnings this week. So these are the most anticipated. Lemonade is also another big one in the insurance side of things. And this is going to be an interesting week. We have all over the sectors right now. And we'll see what's going on. Of course, these aren't all of the earnings that we have. These are just the most anticipated. So that is what we're going to be looking at. Now, as far as that goes, we're going to go take a look back at our futures. I'm going to look at a few stocks that I expect to rebound, and then we'll end the stream there. All of this will also be posted on our YouTube, Stock VIP on YouTube. Make sure to check that out. Make sure to go and subscribe to that. This will all be posted there right afterwards, so everybody who missed it can go take a look at that. So some stocks that I'm looking forward to, of course, Apple's going to be a big one, right? So Apple has fallen out of two major trend lines here. So we had support here at this 126 level. It fell through that last week. It also fell out of the rising channel. Now we got to go take a look back at this long-term trend that we have, right? So it did back here in March, and it was going up. Long-term trend line, right? This is making a lower low. It's hard to make a higher high when you make a lower low. Okay, so the part about this is that we were making a higher high without making a higher low. So the part we were making a higher low here, higher low. This one was still a higher low, higher lows all up in here, and then we broke down and made a lower low. So it's hard to tell where this true number is. Now, the main thing that I'm looking for a reversal here is the relative strength index. So the RSI on large cap stocks are pretty nice to see. I don't usually play RSI on penny stocks or anything like that just because they're not true to the daily. So as we can see, we have not been this low since COVID. Since COVID first hit, we have not been this oversold on the daily since then. The last time we were also there was in 2019. So it seems to happen once a year, right? So we were here in 2019. We were here in 2020. Now we're here in 2021. Apple is not going anywhere. Apple is innovative. Apple did a split last year. Hold on, let me go back to that. So I do not believe we will see Apple go anywhere, especially if it can hold this long-term trend. This could be the start of a long-term trend here that I'd like to see take place. I would love to see a reversal back over 126 this week. I do believe we can catch that if the S&P and the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ decide to move up as well. So this is a highly anticipated move back up for me this week. Another one is going to be Tesla. This is another major one that I like to watch here. We had a huge move back here, September, October, November, consolidation. This was the demand zone for Tesla. Everybody was loading up in here. and then boom, decided to break out. Then we had another area of somewhat of a supply and demand, people selling for the supply. The demand was down here, moved up, consolidated. There wasn't enough demand up here, so now, or there wasn't enough, yeah, there wasn't enough demand. There was a ton of supply, so now we're moving back down. We could see this continue to dip, but as we have seen before, Tesla has not gone under this green line, except for once back during COVID. So we are touching that green line again. I expect a bounce here. We have had a ton of sell-off. I expect this to move back up this week. Now for the last one, this was hard for me to decide what I was going to watch for this last one, because everything is sort of in a limbo right now, but I'm going to watch Nvidia. This is another one that will influence the tech sector. This one fell out. It had its earnings already. They did not do well on their earnings. They fell back down to this green line. Now we are back in the demand zone. So this will influence a lot of the gaming industry, a lot of the tech industry, those things moving forward. We're back into the demand. We have not been able to break out of this demand zone since September. This is a major one that's just sitting here. So this is my area to purchase, in my opinion, for moving forward. I wish Nvidia would do a split. I think they would get a lot better movement, but that's neither here nor there. And this is what I have for my top 3 watchers of the week. These areas I do believe influence a lot of it. Tesla will influence whether or not those EVs move, that EV industry. Apple is more on the tech side of things, not so much the chips, but overall tech performance, such as Microsoft, and going into the smaller companies as well, Micron chips. That also will be affected by Nvidia, and then AMD is another one to watch with this type of thing. Now government stocks. The one that I am watching for a nice move up, this is a hidden gem in my opinion, is PLTR. This is my long-term outlook for PLTR. It bounces off this Fibonacci level, goes down, comes back up. I think anything with government is going to be highly accredited, highly sought after. Same with like Snowflake and those companies. So overall, these are the areas I'm watching. We have our futures looking up right now. Futures are looking green. Now, of course, don't take everything into consideration, or you need to take everything with a grain of salt, right? We've seen futures go from green to red before market open even hits. So let's see what this is doing. This is a nice V-shaped recovery. I would love to see us over 385 to push 386. Over 386, I would love to see 387 and then 391. So these are the levels I'm looking at. I will be keeping an update on SPY throughout the night in the Discord. You can look us up, Stock VIP, in the Discord. Make sure to subscribe to VIP MVP if you are not yet a part of it. Overall, this is what I have for you guys. So keep in mind the anticipated earnings, jobless claims on Thursday, the overall market conditions as far as coming back and touching those areas of support, stimulus checks, and so on and so forth. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and we will see you back here tomorrow morning for market open. So make sure to check it out. See ya.